The Chicago Bears utilized their 10th overall pick for Colston Loveland from the University of Michigan to be in our tight end room. What is up, guys? Welcome back to SoBackSports, and I'm so back with another video. And I just ended stream, and I'm just going to give you my relatively honest and instant reactions. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot. It really helps me create content like this for you guys, especially after the draft. And I'm going to be making videos about every pick that we've made so far. So this is the first of the many picks that we have. So feel free to look out for those videos. And let's get into this Colston Loveland pick because, when it first happened, a lot of, rightfully so, mixed emotions from Chicago Bears fans, me included. And as you can tell, my brother on stream as well was not having it whatsoever. And you could say rightfully so. But let's kind of do a little bit of a deep dive in it. Let's start with, the big issues with this pick. Tight end is not necessarily a pick that we, or a position that we really need on the Chicago Bears. Just because we already have Cole Kmet, we got Durham Smythe from the Miami Dolphins. So our tight end room is relatively set per se, but that wasn't necessarily in the minds of Chicago Bears fans a big need. And another thing to reconsider is Tyler Warren at the time of that pick at 10 was still on the board. And Tyler Warren, throughout multiple draft boards and multiple draft gurus that are talking about this draft, said that he was the number one tight end in the draft. And I also thought that too. If my initial thinking was that the Chicago Bears were going to go Warren at 10 if they were to ever take a tight end at that point. But it came out of left field when it was announced that Colston Loveland was going to be the new Chicago Bears tight end 1/2 behind Cole Kmet. And listen, let's compare the two tight ends right now. Cole Kmet, 26-year-old, 6'6", 262 pounds. Under contract for like about $50 million over 4 years. And I think he's about entering his third year in the contract. So relatively pretty good contract for him. And now we add Colston Loveland, 21-year-old, 6'6", 248 pounds. So about 18 pounds less than Cole Kmet, but a great weapon when it comes to route running. And Caleb Williams gets another weapon to go alongside Cole Kmet, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore. And if we do end up keeping Keenan Allen as well. Now that we got that out of the way, and now that was a complete left field pick, I want to get into some of the positives in that. And you may think, if you're thinking I'm coping, by all means, go for it. I mean, that doesn't really affect me whatsoever. But I'm just saying, you got to take into account that we have Ben Johnson as our head coach. And if you think about it, if this pick happened and we had Eberflus as our head coach, I would be extremely concerned. Extremely. I would be like my brother, genuinely. I would be like, this is the worst pick. Why are we doing such a thing? This is not the right pick here. We are wasting a pick and whatnot. And while to a certain degree, I do feel that this pick wasn't necessarily amazing or earth shattering, there are some positives to go with it. And one being that, tight end is a very, very valuable position when it comes to good scheming. And with good scheming, Ben Johnson has that because, as a former tight ends coach in Miami, Ben Johnson is very familiar with tight ends, very familiar. And even in Detroit, when he was promoted to offensive coordinator, he basically, had a definite say when it comes to drafting Sam Laporta. And he utilized him and Brock Wright together in 12 personnel on the offensive side. And you may be saying, oh, SoBackSports. I mean, what about Shane Waldron? You said that, back in the day, he also ran 12 personnel, 13 personnel and whatnot. Let's be real. Shane Waldron is not what we thought we were. I also was very overly hyping him up to being a great offensive coordinator. And clearly that showed his ugly head when, he comes to him calling plays for us. So let's get that out of the way. And when comparing to Ben Johnson knows tight ends ins and out. Like he knows it in and out, and he utilizes them very well when it comes to an offensive standpoint. And while Colston Loveland isn't necessarily, the best when it comes to run blocking, because some of his main weaknesses are his run blocking and his overall strength, because he is a little bit on the lighter side when it comes to a tight end. But, that can obviously be improved. But, in the coming year, we'll see what happens. But overall, when it comes to his strength, it's his athleticism, his ability to route run, and his general versatility. If you go take a look at the tape when it comes to him, and I'm going to probably do a little bit of more of a deep dive later on, but I'm saying based on what I've been seeing throughout during stream when I was checking out his clips, he has the versatility. He has the intangibles that will make him a great tight end in the system with Ben Johnson. And I feel like Ben Johnson had to have the big say when it comes to picking him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone this early. Obviously, Ashton Genty wasn't available. Membu wasn't available. What was it? Mason Graham wasn't available. A bunch of players were not available. I 100% get that. And I understand that this isn't necessarily the most great pick either. But I guess at this point, I'm at a point where I trust Ben Johnson. We'll see what Ben Johnson does with him. Because this team has some holes when it comes to the left tackle spot. This draft isn't great for left tackles in general, outside of Will Campbell potentially. So we'll have to see with that. And to list some of his accolades as well. He was a 2023 national champion, 2024 second team All-American, 2023 first team All Big Ten, 2024 second team All Big Ten. Big awards for this tight end. If you saw him last year with Michigan, yes, Michigan wasn't necessarily at the biggest form. He was pretty solid for them. As a player, I'll definitely do more of a deep dive into him. I'm just giving you my instant thoughts when it comes to this pick. But I think, my overall thoughts on this pick. Let's start with that. Not very excited per se. I feel like I'm leading more on trusting Ben Johnson's intuition. And I feel like he knows more than I do when it comes to, evaluating talent. I still think it's a questionable pick at 10, but I can see some potential reasoning behind it. We shall see, because in day 2, we have 2 picks. We'll see what we do with that. And yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say. We just took a little bit of a leap of faith and picked up Colston Loveland. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Colston Loveland? And I know I'm going to see a lot of interesting opinions on this, very ends of the spectrums, but feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm always streaming when it comes to big events like this, so feel free to check that out. We have the SoBackSports podcast. We try to get some episodes out, especially after the draft, to provide some more draft coverage and insights. So feel free to look forward to that. And as always, guys, we'll see you guys in the next one.